in this short video, I would like to mention about the contributions made by two sets of people to our understanding of competencies, besides David McClelland, who did a lot with his classical article in 1973. One of them is Henry Mintzberg. Mintzberg studied for his doctoral dissertation 5 CEOs by actually following up what activities they do. He observed each of the CEOs for about a week. He used the observation methodology. That means actually observing, staying with them and then looking at whatever they have done. 5 of the CEOs, and made a list of activities they undertake. On the basis of this, he exploded a lot of myths about what managers do in his beautiful article published in Harvard Business Review, Manager's Job, Fact and Folklore. This is a 1975 article, if I recollect. In that article, he talked about many myths that exist about managers. Managers plan, managers organize, managers collect systematically information, managers are strategic thinkers and things of that kind. And he said what he observed the CEOs to do very rarely coincided with all that we read in textbook. He said managers don't plan, they shift from one activity to other. They spend a lot of time in telephones. They collect information in corridors and in all kinds of places which we cannot imagine. And therefore he talked of 10 different roles which managers perform. These include information roles, which are data collecting roles, and rituals which they conduct, which is opening up of seminars, opening up of meetings and things of that kind. Very interesting kind of an article. You must read this article to find out the 10 different roles managers play. Another person by name Robert Katz came up with a classification of all the skills required for an administrator and wrote another article, Skills of an Effective Administrator. And he classified the roles of the competencies required by the managers to perform various roles into 3 broad categories. First, he called them as technical skills, which are the specialist skills that are required to perform your function well. Nowadays we also use the term functional skills. Second, he said, are the human relations skills, which deal with effectively dealing with people, including how to be a good team worker, how to negotiate contracts and a whole lot of things, interpersonal skills, human relations skills, human skills. The third category he called as conceptual skills, which deal with things that you have not yet done before, things you are likely to do in future and so on. All the 3 things put together are the skills that are required for performing any role that you have as an administrator or a manager. Now nowadays, after the competency movement has started, we classify the competencies into knowledge, attitudes, skills. Now the skills can be classified again into, like what Katz has said, into functional skills or technical skills. Now we expanded the human skills into managerial skills, which deal with certainly planning, organizing, resource mobilization, strategic thinking, etc. In spite of whatever Mintzberg has talked of in 70s, we still think that managers, if they don't plan, that doesn't mean that you should not get them to plan. I think managers should be taught to plan, to organize, to mobilize resources and things of that kind. So we classified them into managerial skills, then human relations or human skills, and conceptual skills, visualizing the invisible and so on. So knowledge, attitude, skills, and McClelland added values, motives, self-concept, and of course traits. So you have knowledge, attitude, skills, then you have values, motives, self-concept, traits, and things like that. You can conceptualize them into a matrix. You can say that these can be skills, these can be attitudes, there can be knowledge and things of the nature. It is possible to visualize these. These are the kind of things we talk of in the competency mapping program. This is just a beginning of a competency mapping program. I've just given you the foundation for competency mapping. In the foundation, we start understanding a variety of ways in which we can classify the competencies. So we study the anatomy of competencies. We also study the way the competencies form into chemistry, and we actually in the competency mapping program delineate. If you have a competency like strategic thinking, what does it consist of? How does it get into activities? And what is the kind of results it produces and things of that nature? These are some of the things that are talked of in a good competency mapping program. So if you want to know more, I think you should certainly go through a course, a short course, maybe a 3-day course or even a 2-day course on competency mapping, like the one offered by TVRLS at Bangalore and so on. So all the best. Hope you will read a lot about competencies. If you can't go for these programs, go to internet, visit some of the work on competencies, see some of the videos on competencies. All the best and have a great time.